Hey, y'all. We are on day 6 of 90 Days in the Psalms. Today we're going to be knocking out Psalms 12, 13, and 14. So go ahead, hit that like button, the thumbs up. Go ahead and share this. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Make sure your notifications are turned on because I'm going to be coming with a video every single day for the next 84 days. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start with Psalm 12 and I'm going from the Amplified Version. Save and help and rescue, Lord, for godly people cease to be, for the faithful vanish from among the sons of men. They speak deceitful and worthless words to one another, with flattering lips and a double heart they speak. May the Lord cut off all flattering lips, the tongue that speaks great things in boasting. Who have said, with our tongue we will prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Lord and master over us? Because of the devastation of the afflicted, because of the groaning of the needy, now I will arise, says the Lord. I will place him in the safety for which he longs. The words and promises of the Lord are pure words, like silver refined in an earthen furnace, purified 7 times. You, O Lord, will preserve and keep them. You will protect him from this evil generation forever. The wicked strut about in pompous self-importance on every side, as vileness is exalted and baseness is prized among the sons of men. So this psalm is a commentary on probably all of society, but it may have been narrowed towards David's supposed allies, right? So in the midst of the commentary on this and the complaining about people's words and their tongues and hearts, we see the promises of God. We see that the Lord will arise and place the afflicted under his safety. And in that, we see that he hears the groaning of the needy. We see the promise that the words of the Lord are pure and right. We see the promise that the needy will be preserved and kept. And then we have the promise that God will give protection. So this psalm was written kind of as a me and them, but per usual, I'm here to tell you for my revelation that we all should take this as a warning that we all need to watch our tongues. Many Christians are guilty of using their tongues to cut people down, myself included. We must watch what we speak because we know that what we speak comes out of our heart. And if we are speaking these things, then we have something in our heart that needs to be changed and is not godlike. So I want to leave this psalm by reading a New Testament version of what this is saying. And I just want it to be something for you to take into consideration as you reread this psalm. And it comes from James 3, 5 through 12, and I'm reading from the NIV just to be concise. It says, likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by such a small spark. The tongue is also is a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and is itself set on fire by hell. All kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and sea creatures are being tamed and have been tamed by mankind, but no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil, full of deadly poison. With the tongue we praise our Lord and Father, and with it we curse human beings who have been made in God's likeness. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing. My brothers and sisters, this should not be. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? My brothers and sisters, can a fig tree bear olives or a grapevine bear figs? Neither can a salt spring produce fresh water. So again, we need to be mindful of our tongue. We're going to go ahead and go into Psalm 13. And again, I am reading from the Amplified Version. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart day after day? How long will my enemy exalt himself and triumph over me? Consider and answer me, O Lord my God. Give life to my eyes, or I will sleep the sleep of death. And my enemy will say, I have overcome him, and my adversaries will rejoice when I am shaken. But I have trusted and relied on and been confident in your loving kindness and faithfulness. My heart shall rejoice and delight in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me. So I love this psalm. I especially love to refer anyone who is suffering from a chronic illness or just illness in general to this psalm because it has such a real and raw feeling to it, but it also ends on this note of trust and having confidence in the Lord. So if you are facing a situation which seems like it is going on forever, and it seems like there's such a little way to get out of this, you don't know if it's going to happen. Meditate on this psalm. David says how long 4 different times in this psalm, and I think that officially makes this a psalm of lament, which is exciting to me because I love psalms of lament. There are 22 in the psalms, and we have to stop thinking of lament as this depressing thing that God doesn't want to hear. That is false. It would not be included in the Bible if God didn't respond to it, right? And this is going to seem like an oxymoron, but lamenting is actually praising God because we're laying things at his feet. We're saying, God, I can't deal with what is happening in my life right now. I am down. I am torn up. I have nothing left. And so I'm going to pour it all at your feet, knowing that you are sovereign, knowing that you're the only one who can take care of this, knowing that I am at my wit's end. And if I do anything more, I'm going to break. I'm going to crumble. I'm going to lay down and die. And so we have to start embracing lament. It is just as valuable time spent with God than any other time. We're communing with him. We're communicating with him. We're allowing him to see our deepest, darkest places, which he already knows about, but perhaps he's waiting on us to pour it out to him. So that was a long aside, y'all. I love Psalms of Lament. So when we get to them, get ready because I know, it seems weird, but whatever. So, we see the psalm. We know that there's a lot of pain, a lot of frustration. There's feeling God has left, feeling God has forgotten, and maybe that God is somehow punishing David in this. But as we progress through the psalm, we see David's faith build. It's almost like as he's talking, he's like taking mental note, like, oh man, I forgot God did this, and like, God, you're going to do this. Oh, I remember when you did this for me, God. And by the time we end the psalm, we have reached a point of trust and confidence again. So the revelation from this psalm, it comes in the last 2 verses 5 and 6. And that is that when our faith is shaken, when we feel alone, when we feel dejected, when we feel let down, when we feel frustrated, all of these things, we have to check our feelings against who God is and what we have experienced God doing in our own lives. We see in verse 5, it's like this small little change that if you're not looking for it, you'll miss it. But at the beginning of verse 5, David uses the past tense. I have trusted, I have relied on, I have been confident in your loving kindness, right? So he's remembering who God has been and how he reacted in past situations. He has to remember the past before he can move on from what he's focusing on right now. And the same is true for us. We have to reconcile what we are facing with what God has done for us and who God says he is. And it's only after we have checked our feelings, checked our thoughts in that moment, that we can stand in confidence. Because if we're still in our own minds, we are not going to be saying, God, I trust you. But if we look back and say, you know what, God, I was in a much worse situation and I put all of my trust in you and you came through like you always do, right now you're going to do the same thing because you are not a God who changes. And that's how we get the victory. That's how salvation happens. That's how God works stuff out for us, is when we recall these things and then we stand confidently facing whatever. I'm not saying that you have to stand there and not have a little bit of fear, but you're not running out of fear. You're standing confidently, all right? So we're going to go ahead and go straight into Psalm 14. And for this one, I'm actually going to read from the New Living Translation, NLT. Only fools say in their hearts there is no God. They are corrupt and their actions are evil. Not one of them does good. The Lord looks down from heaven on the entire human race. He looks to see if anyone is truly wise, if anyone seeks God. But no, all have turned away. All have become corrupt. No one does good, not a single one. Will those who do evil never learn? They eat up my people like bread and wouldn't think of praying to the Lord. Terror will grip them, for God is with those who obey him. The wicked frustrate the plans of the oppressed, but the Lord will protect his people. Who will come from Mount Zion to rescue Israel? When the Lord restores his people, Jacob will shout with joy and Israel will rejoice. So in this psalm, we see another type of commentary. This time, it seems to be on the entire world, although he does refer to his own people. And we should see that people in David's day were the exact same type of people we encounter today, just in a different context. There's nothing new under the sun. The evil people that exist today existed way back then, right? They have been corrupt and evil since Adam and Eve did the little and the rest of us fell into sin. But one interesting part is that in this psalm, David seems to implicate himself, which is fine because it's true, but he's like, no one on earth is good. God looks upon earth and is seeking someone who is wise, someone who is doing right, someone who wants a heart after God, and he sees none. And I found that so interesting because then he goes straight from there, he goes into this part about they eat my people up like bread. Well, you just said no one in the world does good, not a single one. So your people are implicated in that. You're implicated in that. But I think he's also talking about the righteousness of the heart. Yes, we have all fallen to sin. Yes, there's no good thing in our flesh. Yes, we are all sinful by nature. But if we in our hearts are trying to do better, if we are really making an attempt to be more like God, God also sees that. So So I'm just going to go into the revelation for this because I'll go into like a tailspin of sin, talking about sin, not actually committing sin, but talking about sin if we stay here. So I'm going to go into the revelation. Verse 7 asks, "Who will come from Mount Zion to rescue Israel?" Well, the answer is someone did come, and his name was Jesus Christ. Glory be to God. And that's why we shout and rejoice, right? Because Jesus rescued us from ourselves. He died while we were yet still sinners, right? That is our hope. That is our joy. That is our peace. That we are a mess. We are up to our ears in sin. Yet Jesus Christ died for us. He was our rescuer. And Paul actually quotes this verse in Romans 3. And then he goes on to say in verses 21 through 24, "But now, apart from the law of righteousness of God has been made known, to which the law and prophets testify. This righteousness is given through faith in Jesus Christ to all who believe. There is no difference between Jew and Gentile, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and all are justified freely by his grace through the redemption that came by Jesus Christ." David never knew that this rescuer would literally come from his lineage, from the house of Jesse. And he would be the one he is calling upon in verse 7. Oh my God. See, this is why I'm a nerd for the Psalms. Y'all, David was asking for a rescuer not knowing that it was going to come from his own bloodline. That's so amazing. That's so amazing. That's so amazing. And that is a reason to shout. And that is why I wanted you and want you to continue going in this journey through the Psalms. It's so much more than a song that's included in worship, like a line here and there. Songs. It's so much more than that. It's so much more than David talking about his battles and his enemies. It is so much more, y'all. It is about Jesus, and it should excite us because all of the things that David worries about, all of the things that David complains about, everything he talks about, we get relief from. Thanks be to the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. We can stand in the confidence that he talks about because we have the victory through Jesus Christ, right? David didn't have that, but he still had the confidence in God, and we have so much more, so our confidence should be so much more in God. All right, y'all, I will see you on tomorrow. I can't wait. You know the drill. Go back through, read the Psalms for yourselves again, and get your own revelation. Love y'all. Bye.